Buddy, welcome to the show today. We have some breaking news every day. It's like breaking news, but this is probably one that takes the cake. Mike Johnson and Trump are working now on what it's going to take to implement term limits for all congressional positions. The biggest people that have been career politicians like Nancy Pelosi and even Biden and some are freaking out. A lot of the Democrats are freaking out because they had planned to be these career politicians and they're losing it because Trump is working with Johnson now and they're talking with Thune to see what it's going to take to make sure that we can get term limits on all congressional politicians. So no more swamp, no more deep state. You get in, you get out. And at the same time, because of this, there is now talk from the Democrats of trying to create a shadow cabinet behind Trump's back and literally have like two separate governments. It's literally insane what's going on. The House Democrats are also trying to go after Matt Gaetz on an ethnic probe in the House of Representatives. But remember, he's already resigned and Trump wants him to be his attorney general. But Mike Johnson has already said that if anything comes to his desk about Matt Gaetz, that he will block it. This is coming from Trump as well. They're trying to already take out Trump's people before they even step into their positions. Trump met with Zelensky today and met over the Ukraine war, talked about Trump's policies, and Zelensky came out and said that he is very excited and that he believes that the Ukraine war will end very quickly based upon Trump's policies, and he is excited to make a deal and get things done. This is what we're talking about, everybody. This is what we want. End the war, end the killing. Let's get to a deal. We also have today, Trump is now suing multiple news stations. We heard about CBS, but now he's going after New York Times and a lot of other media outlets that he says were not only interfering with the election, but defamed him, Trump, Donald Trump, on behalf of the Democratic Party, and they were working in cohorts with the Democratic Party to try to win the election. So $10 billion plus he is suing them for. We've also uncovered evidence that this is insane. Joe Biden and his administration took money out of Medicare to pay for his Green New Deal. And now that he's done that, what he's done over the past couple of years is add subsidies. But in this next year, a lot of Medicare's prices are going to go up exponentially because he pulled it out to pay for other stuff. And last but not least, Rand Paul is going to be the new chairman of the Homeland Security Committee and has vowed that on day one, we are reinstating Trump's Remain in Mexico policy. This would be January 3rd, whenever they step back into office from the holiday break. So we've got a ton of breaking news today. I love it. Things are getting done like never before. Chat, you're already killing it. Just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. It really does help to grow the channel. Thank you to all of our members. If you want to join the TrueLife News fam, the link is in the description to join. And thank you so much to everybody who gives a super chat donation. In about a week, we're going to be doing a big donation online live to give back to charity in this time of Thanksgiving. So love you all. Appreciate your support. But we've got a lot of stuff to get into. I'm telling you. Things are changing faster than I can breathe. Let's go. Check it out.
Democrats would have been sad. Turns out that was just the start. Liberals are finding creative ways to cope with the idea Trump's going to be president, and this time he's not messing around. Whoopi is threatening a sex strike.
I mean, the Taliban, I read the Taliban is so happy that we didn't pick a woman, you know. There's a lot of anti-women feeling around the world. Yeah. Be careful.
Well, I'm just going to say this.
We all came from
you didn't get here by yourself, man. You can't do this without us.
Wow.
And if we don't let you, you don't get any. It's that simple.
Democrats aren't just giving up sex. They're giving up the thing they like the most. Attention. Kind of. Don Lemon quit Twitter, but then immediately came back and asked people to follow him. Joy Reid says she's quitting too.
Hey guys, so today I finally did something I've been meaning to do for a while. And the reason for doing it, and kissing goodbye my 1.9 million followers over there is because I hadn't been posting for a long time. I just didn't want to contribute content once it was purchased by its present owner.
Talking to fewer people isn't how you win elections. That was one of Kamala's biggest mistakes on the trail. She skipped Rogan. Today, we're finding out she didn't want to do the podcast because she didn't want to offend her liberal staffers. There was a backlash with some of our progressive staff that didn't want her to be on it. Anyone who cares this much about their staff's feelings is unfit. Well, except me. I care deeply. Kamala was so scared to hurt people's feelings, she never came up with an agenda. Americans don't like that. Even some migrants don't like it. They think they're better off with Trump, even if they're going to get deported.
If you get deported, would you regret your support to Donald Trump?
No me arrepentiría.
He's saying that he wouldn't regret supporting Donald Trump. So you're really not thinking about yourself. You're thinking about your children and the future of your children.
Yes, I want the better for my children.
Liberals
Wow,
love to
that's
tell you they're
amazing,
allies
y'all.
of blacks and Latinos, but blacks and Latinos think libs are crazy. A Financial Times study shows white liberals are way more radical than blacks and Hispanics. I mean, way more. More blacks and Hispanics are proud to be Americans than white liberals. Blacks and Hispanics want tighter borders than white liberals. White liberals think America is more of a racist country than blacks and Hispanics. Blacks and Hispanics believe you can make it in America if you work hard.
Yes.
White liberals, not so much. White liberals are alone on an island while the rest of the country's over here in a place we like to call normal. If liberals could just wipe the tears out of their eyes, maybe they could see a little bit better and notice everyone around them thinks they're open borders atheists who hate America. Searching after getting whomped last week, John Fetterman thinks it's time for Nancy to hang up her cleats. Quote, I think it's really ironic that you have a woman at age 84 and she's still hanging on. Why not give a younger generation an opportunity to occupy that seat? Nancy
This is crazy.
disagrees. She filed her re-election paperwork this morning. And why should she retire? Stock market's up, and she thinks the Democrat Party's just doing fine.
The brand of the Democratic Party overall seems to have been hurt this election cycle.
Well, I think we lost the presidential election, and in many cases, our Democrats in the House ran ahead of the presidential ticket. So you're branding that we all got rejected. We didn't. We're still in the fight right now, and it's going to be a very close call. I don't see it as an outright rejection of the Democratic Party.
Sorry, Nance, it was. The party's policies were a mess, and so is its messaging.
Do you think that Democrats can win a national election if they continue on this path where they demonize, call someone a Nazi collaborator just because they don't like their point of view on one issue?
No, we're going to keep losing if we do that. We're not going to be able to win elections if we don't at least entertain and debate a variety of...
This is all just Fox News. Like, shut the up with that. Like, talk to some people who live near you.
Elizabeth Pip goes.
Guys, I'm telling you, it's imploding upon them. They can't stand what they're seeing. So this just broke. You know, they're still counting votes. It's crazy to say that. We're literally 10 days past the date of election, but they're still counting votes in Arizona, to say the least. Ronald Zimmerman, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Ronald some love in the chat, everybody. Trump has just crossed 76 million threshold, the first ever for a Republican candidate in history. And this is it. This is the thing. Harris now has 73 million, and it's getting closer and closer, but there's no way I see Biden getting 81 million votes. I don't know about y'all, but this is the part where everybody on the Democratic side, half of them are in denial. Half of them think that they just need to keep doing what they're doing, but they're just going to keep losing. And what I love is that we have people that are not normal Republicans that are on the party with the MAGA America First agenda, and I love what they have to say. Check this out.
Last Tuesday was not the destination, it was the start line for the revival of this country. The cabinet picks this week, you know what? Donald Trump wasn't afraid in putting Tom Homan and Kristi Noem in charge of the mass deportations of millions of illegals for this country. But I also want to thank him for making sure that Elon Musk and I are in a position to start the mass deportations of millions of unelected federal bureaucrats out of the D.C. bureaucracy. That, too, is how we're going to save this country. And I don't know if you've got to know Elon yet, but he doesn't bring a chisel. He brings a chainsaw, and we're going to be taking it to that bureaucracy. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I do want to say this, is that we've been taught to believe over the last 4 years that we have become a nation in decline, that we're at the end of the ancient Roman Empire. All we have is to fight over the scraps of some shrinking pie. I don't think we have to stay that nation in decline. I think with what happened last week, we're back to being a nation in our ascent, a nation whose best days are actually still ahead of us.
Yes.
I couldn't tell you last year that it was morning in America. It's not. It's not yet, but on January 20th, it is going to be morning in America, the start of a new dawn, the start of a country where our kids are going to grow up and we're going to tell them and mean it that you get ahead in the United States again with your own hard work and commitment and dedication, that you're free to speak your mind at every step of the way, that the best person gets the job regardless of their skin color. I think most of us agree on it. The next 4 years is just the beginning. It's not the end of the chapter, it's the beginning. And I think the work that's going on here at AFBI sets the course not just for the next 4 years, but for the next 250. And so what I will say is when we send Donald J. Trump back to the White House on January 20th, that is just the beginning of our best days as a nation, still yet ahead of us. Thank you all for supporting the mission here. Thank you all for your love of this country. Do not stop fighting until we get this job done. And 4 years from now, we're going to say not make America great again, but keep making America greater. Thank you all. God bless you and your family.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, I get so excited. The Dream Team is real, everybody. They're not playing around. It just makes me so happy because I just think about, man, you know what? Trump is doing things that nobody else thought he would do, and it's okay. And people are okay with it because that's what America voted for. Leigh Lewis, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Leigh said they all belong together, should go back to Fantasy Island. I agree 100%. Y'all show Leigh some love in the chat, everybody. Now listen to this. Check this out.
Appointments he's got to make. Now, I'm just being straight with you here. I know a lot of good and decent people. They told me they're going through a very methodical process with this thing. Here's the problem they have. There is not a single appointment they're going to make, I promise, where you're going to agree with that person 100% of the time. It's just not going to happen. It's not. And I'm not going to comment on the Kristi Noem pick yet because I haven't seen it on True Social. So I'm going to follow my pattern. The Rubio pick seems like that's pretty much a fait accompli at this point for Secretary of State. You have Lee Zeldin. We'll get to that later at EPA. Here's the issue. The last time Trump chose a team of rivals approach, this team of rivals approach was meant to bring into the tent people who generally disagreed with Trump and ran against him with the thought that it would mute the resistance to his agenda. Does that make sense? Guy, stop me if this is getting boring. He just figured there's going to be a lot of people out there who don't like me who were never Trump in 2016. You might as well bring them in the tent, and then they'll become Team Trump loyalists. That didn't happen. Nope. They got inside the tent, and they did what? Double-barreled F you, man. They just gave him the double barrel and screwed him over. The Rex Tillersons and others, they shafted his entire, basically his entire presidency. And it took them 3.5 years for, to get their sea legs. Luckily, they got a lot of stuff done. I shouldn't say 3.5 years. They got a lot of stuff done. But it was the team of rivals approach didn't work. This time, what I'm hearing is they're not going to agree on policy with every single appointee. They're not. But they at least initially trust these people to be loyalists to the Trump agenda. If not, I want to say the Trump agenda. And that they came out there and they put their political butts on the line a little bit. That's what I think is going on. So there's going to be a lot of circular firing squad stuff. where somebody wants someone and they don't get picked, and then boom, everybody. Here's my suggestion. Give it a little bit. Trump has had no problem firing people. Trust his judgment on this just for a bit. I know his people are doing their homework. None of these picks are by accident. There's a reason it's happening. I'm just asking you, especially with the Rubio pick and others, listen, Marco Rubio and I have had some agreements and some disagreements on issues. He's my one of my senators down here from the state of Florida. Just give it some time. There's a reason they made these picks. They're not by accident. Do you get what I'm saying? Just kind of, a lot of times, like in the past, we thought we had really good people, Bill Barr and others, and they let us down.
They did.
Jeff Sessions and others, and they let us down.
Sad.
This time, he's doing it for a reason. We talked about personnel for a second there. Let's talk about anti-personnel, getting rid of some people. Because, folks, if there's not mass firings on day 1, day 2 through day 100, then this thing has all been for naught. The hits just keep on coming. And I want to address something, too, a tactical disagreement I had with a listener yesterday who's like, Dan, they're doing it all wrong. They're announcing all the people they're going to fire and all the things they're going to do. This is a big mistake. We should sneak up on them. Funny with the ninja stars. Like ninja style, the Karate Man. I would do Karate Man, but my right knee is like blown out. I slipped in the sauna yesterday. I know things keep breaking. I'm getting old. But I'm going to address why you're wrong. I love that you commented, but you're wrong. But this person's got to go. NBC News FBI Director Christopher Wray is preparing for a possible forced exit under Trump. Hallelujah. Please, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. This guy has got to go. Folks, I said to you, the second Donald Trump swears in, Donald J. Trump, he should just whip out a flip phone from his pocket, a StarTAC from the 90s that still works. Call up Christopher Wray and say, you're fired in that Donald Trump only way. This guy has got to go. I can make a strong case to you that he has been as incompetent and potentially corrupt an FBI director as Jim Comey. And believe me, that's saying a lot. This guy is awful. It's by Ken Delanian, which, of course, is a fusion Ken Delanian. Was that a Ken Delanian article? Really? Oh. Some people have asked me who I would like to see in charge of the FBI. I'm always hesitant to throw names out there, but Kash Patel, I think, would be great. I think would be a great addition. Listen, Devin Nunes, who led the Spygate investigation, would be really good. Ratcliffe would be pretty good. Again, folks, I understand as I throw these names out there, I'm listening to you guys in the chat. You guys matter to me. I'm here. Someone who's at West Coast 360, Kash Patel. Listen, I love you guys in the chat, but I just want to be clear. Like, this is not a monarchy. If you don't agree with me, say, Dan, say, screw that guy, F that guy, and here's why. That's fine. Like, that's cool. There's just so many people to pick. There's not going to be unanimity on every single pick is all I was getting at. I'm sorry if I was even a little long-winded at the beginning of the show. Now, let me get to one of my listeners. Someone reached out via Facebook yesterday and said, Dan, the strategy of announcing all this stuff that Trump is going to do by video is a huge mistake because the left can prepare. I'm here to tell you with absolute certainty, and I'm not absolutely certain about much, but I'm certain about this. You are 100% wrong. And I can tell you, because this is not an ex post facto analysis, I've said to you before in advance for years that that's wrong. The left already knows what Trump is going to do. People in government who are getting pink slips, notifications, your job, they're already leaking to the media.
100%.
So let me be clear, and I would like your feedback in the chat here, but let me just be clear on this. People in the media, number one, already know what Trump is going to do. Fact, people all over the government are leaking. I'll give you an example. Someone leaked out the Rubio pick before Trump even got to announce it. That's why I'm not so sure the Nome pick is even real. It was leaked. People already know. Second, what did I tell you about a year, 2 years, 3 years ago, over and over again? The way you handle the first 100 days is you do, remember Rock'em Sock'em Robots? You guys ever play that game with kids? Am I aging myself a little bit? Now everybody's on video games. But back then they had actual games, like you'd have to hit little levers and stuff. Remember the Rock'em Sock'em Robots? And they'd beat the crap out of each other? Me and my brothers loved that game. And if you could hit it really fast, that Rock'em Sock'em Robot, you beat the hell out of the other robot. That's how you do it. You got to just keep throwing punches. You send out The minute they're worried about Trump breaking up the international censorship regime, you send out a video about breaking up the DEI regime on universities. The minute they get upset about that, you send out Stephen Miller's going to be a deputy chief of staff. They start crying about that, you announce Tom Homan and then Rubio. The minute they're upset about that, you announce that you're going to break up the Department of Education. This is the way you do it. Because if you noticed that they're so busy infighting, they don't know what to focus on. They were losing.
I'm telling you, it's like they're literally imploding. But this is actually breaking news, guys. Remember, we got a show built out for y'all. But it's amazing that I'm always watching the news. That's where I'm looking. My eyes are going everywhere because I'm always trying to grab what's the latest news for you because I want you to have the most breaking news. Well, check this out. I'm telling you, the Trump effect is so real. Look what Iran just came out and said.
Not trying to kill President-elect Trump. That is according to the Wall Street Journal. The news comes after the DOJ, though, outlined allegations of an Iranian plot to assassinate Trump before the...
Can y'all believe this? Wall Street Journal reports Iran said, hey, we weren't trying to kill Trump. No. Please don't hurt us. We're good. We weren't trying to hurt Trump. Like, why would a country literally come out and say that if they weren't fearful? The Trump effect is so real. I love it. What's coming is so real. Check this out. You know, Senator Rand Paul is going to be the new chairman of Homeland Security Committee. He tends to immediately begin working on reinstating Remain in Mexico. This is huge, everybody. He's also come out and said that he's going to go after Fauci over all the gain of function and all that crazy stuff. We literally have it where we've got a list because remember, what am I most excited about? I'm excited about DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. I want to give a couple of examples. We're going to talk about them. Then I'm going to show you something else. We'll come back to this. But this is 15 examples of government waste. Payments to deceased individuals. The federal government has dispersed approximately $1.3 billion to individuals who are no longer alive. Highly significant inefficiency in payment systems. Unemployment and Social Security payments to prisoners. An estimated $171 million has been improperly paid to incarcerated individuals, underscoring vulnerabilities in benefit distribution processes. Medicare and Medicaid fraud. This has resulted in losses of about $101 billion. Extravagant government travel. For instance, a trip by the Biden administration to Ireland cost the taxpayers $4 million. You don't think, I mean, there is an exorbitant amount of waste, but the government is so big and there's so many people that it's hard to nail it. That's why they're working so hard, Elon Vivek, to build a team to come in and clean house. I want to show you this because this right here goes back to what's been leaked about what I told you about in the beginning. Term limits. Term limits are going to solve so much. Listen to this. Check this out.
What movie? Oh, man. This...
The Dirty Dozen?
No, this isn't a movie. This is a war is about to... Let's hold off on the soiree and the partying because he's going to attempt to drain the swamp.
Yes.
With this group of individuals, which means the fight that's coming back is massive because you are going to try to take apart an establishment who has fleeced the American people for generations. Yeah. Senators they're these career senators with their gold bars in their closets and their monies and being able to cousins and first cousins and lobbyist sons getting jobs and places and being pushed to be in charge of energy in China or Ukraine. All of that's going to come to an end. And you think they're just going to be like, okay, you know, so it's going to be, if he's picking these people, every one of them has an axe to grind. And there's a reason for that, because this is going to be the fight for the American. It's one thing to get in. It's another thing to actually make change. He's got the House. He's got the Senate. So all this is great and we're all fired up. But if he walks in there and doesn't do term limits in that first week, Because
Right
that's
there.
how you stop all this stuff. That's how you stop the career. You got to hit the term limits, and then you unleash the dogs, and then you find out how much money they've been stealing from the American people. Eventually, the people who donated to the Democratic Party to raise it up to $1 billion minus 20 are going to be like, they're going to find out that they were being conned by the government, by the progressive government. So that's not, they're just going to lay down and take it. It's going to be terrible. So Pelosi's sad today because she's trying to figure out who she's going to take out first, who they're going to come after first. So he's smart in picking guys like Gates and guys because they're already flawed and they already have their issues, but he's...
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
so it's game on, but be alert.
It's so true, everybody. That's the thing. Like, these people, career politicians, like to normal, average American people, we think, no, we go work a job and, we go and we work for a living on that. But the government, people don't get fired in the government. That's why Biden, even through the stupid Afghanistan withdrawal debacle, nobody got fired. Nobody got fired with anything having to do with the border. Because that's how government operates. They all work to protect each other, but they're living off taxpayers' dollars and they're living better. Because remember, when COVID happened, guess who had to stay at freaking home and couldn't work? People lost jobs. Families were devastated. But guess who got to work and who still got paid? All your government workers, all your government officials. They didn't have to experience what we felt. And that's why, like, one of the biggest appointments that Trump is going to make is right here to help him take over and make sure the American people are put first.
Matt Gaetz is somebody that has always been on the president's radar, has always been America first, whether the radical left likes it or not. He has been very clear about who he is. And despite the bullying, which we've seen time and time again, and frankly, Laura, I'm shocked they've only waited a couple days for more fear-mongering, which you just played for the American people. He's making selections on people that are not going to be bullied. And we have seen time and time again political people who are career politicians come in, they act like they're Republican, they turn out to be a rhino, they fold and buckle under pressure. These people, his selections, they're not that.
Nope.
And that might be frightening to the CNNs and MSNBCs and the people that put up charts and say that they will not respect the rule of law, the Constitution, and the separation of powers. But they've got another thing coming. We need to respect the process. The president has to respect the people he's putting in these roles. And frankly, I do. I think he's made great decisions. I'm excited for what's to come. I think America spoke loudly that they were excited for what's to come on November 5th.
Now, Alina, John Brennan, one of our personal favorites, who lied, the former CIA director who lied about Hunter Biden's laptop, had this to say about Tulsi Gabbard. Watch this.
Tulsi Gabbard has taken actions and made statements over the past several years that really raise serious questions about her common sense, her judgment, as well as her political sympathies. Cozying up to Putin as well as to meeting with Bashar Assad, I think really does show that she doesn't have the type of perspective that is needed for somebody who's going to head up these 18 intelligence agencies.
Alina, so now if you have questions about the progress of the war in Ukraine, our priorities in the war in Ukraine, you are a pro-Putin apologist.
And
that's
also,
where we are today.
Well, it's fear-mongering. Also, Laura, all I know is I want people that know these people. I want people that know how to handle themselves. Also, let's not forget that these are women, men that have military background, or, Pete Hegseth, for instance. They'll knock them no matter what. Tulsi is a strong woman. Frankly, she was independent. She was not even a Republican until recently, but they turned her because this is truly the party of radicalization. This is not the party of America First. She is part of the party where we have welcomed strong women, and she's going to crush it. I know she will. And, he's got some nerve. As you said, Mr. hiding the laptop, he's got some nerve, and he's probably afraid of accountability. To be honest, I think that's what
consider
it is.
Consider the source of the criticism. Alina, is there any circumstance under which do you believe, after working with President-elect Trump for as long as you have, that he would consider pulling a nomination if he thought it was doing greater damage to his fantastic momentum that he obviously has?
President Trump, I don't think, would nominate somebody and put them on the front running if he wasn't going to stand behind them. As somebody who's worked with him extensively, these are not people that are new to politics. These are not people with new dirt and information. He knows who these people are.
Yes.
He's gotten to know them closely, so have I, and they are amazing people. He's not being bamboozled in any way, and he doesn't also buckle to pressure, and we know that about President Trump. He'll fight for his people, and I think you should expect that. He's selecting people that he knows are going to do the job correctly. And frankly, we do have the Senate. And I'm sorry, but the American people voted this, and they voted for change. And that's what we're going to have. And it's going to be the most epic change. He's got a lot to fix from the damage that we've gone through, and we have to do it quickly.
Turn the rocks over, Elena. Everyone needs to see what's underneath the rocks. Exactly. No, turn the page. Elena, you also said you were taking yourself out of the running as press secretary. A lot of people thought you would be a fabulous press secretary. Any other thoughts about the administration and your role?
I honestly, that's between me and President Trump, and you know what I will say, the love I got from that.
Oh, shucks, tell us.
Oh, come on, Laura, you know me better than that. I'm so honored, honestly. I've been showered with love, but that was not a position I wanted, and I want the people that do want it to have their fair shake at it. And I know the people that are up there, and they're going to be great, and they're going to crush it. It's going to be awesome.
I love it, everybody. Like, I just love the team. They're such America first people, guys, because this is the thing. This morning, this broke where Ukraine President Zelensky just said that Trump will end the war with Russia faster thanks to his policies. Like, this stuff is coming out. The people are like bending the knee because they know that Trump is not going to play around. I just showed you Iran came out and said, hey, we weren't trying to assassinate Trump. No, that wasn't us. Please don't blame us. Please don't come after us. Hey, B1 Sly One, man, I need you to calm down in the chat, everybody. So again, I wanted to show you some more stuff because government waste is real, everybody. So we have maintenance on underutilized federal buildings. The government spends approximately $2 billion annually on these buildings that are underused or vacant. Sell them. Give the money back to the American people. We spent on DEI initiatives $38.7 million. We spent weapons for non-military agencies. The Environmental Protection Agency has spent $620,000 on weapons, raising concern about the militarization of civilian agencies, tax delinquencies by IRS employees, the people that literally go after people for tax delinquencies. They have accumulated $50 million in unpaid taxes. Are you like this is unreal. This is just mind-blowing. Research on Russian cats. The National Institutes of Health allocated $549,000 to study the movement of Russian cats on treadmills. What's with all these dang animals and being studied on treadmills? I don't get it. But we're going to put this away a little bit. I'm going to show you something else because this is messing with a lot of people, especially our seniors, that all this information that's coming out about Biden. Check this out.
Thank you, sir. We've been doing some reporting along with AMAC and others to highlight this little ruse that the Biden-Harris administration did a couple of years ago. They took some money from Medicare, spent it on green energy stuff. Now, all of a sudden, we discover it's going to result in a massive increase in Part D premiums for Medicare recipients. Joe Biden tried to hide it from the election, put some $5 billion of subsidies just to keep the increases past the election. I know you're on top of this case. How do we fix this, and how bad was the Biden cover-up?
John, you're exactly right. We've seen a lot of Biden cover-ups, as you have reported. But let's just say this. We saw the Biden-Harris administration raid Medicare in the hundreds of billions of dollars in what they refer to as the Inflation Reduction Act. I call it the Inflation Expansion Act. And inflation's only gone up since they passed that legislation. But what they did, they put measures in place raiding Medicare, and now who's going to pay? Seniors are going to pay with higher premiums. But you know what? They tried to hide it before the election. They put through $5 billion, $5+ billion to insurance companies to prevent those premiums to go up before the election. The election's over with. Now the seniors are going to see the real damage that the Biden-Harris administration has done to their pocketbooks.
Yes, and the Congressional Budget Office, their report suggests that this cost-shifting policy will push Medicare costs directly onto taxpayers. So many critics argue that the recent Medicare cost reduction measures were really aimed at election year gains, but they undermine the Medicare's fiscal stability. So my question, sir, is how does the next administration regain the trust of seniors and the trust that they have in the Medicare system?
I think if you look, seniors do trust the incoming president, the 47th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, because he's been there before. And we saw that whenever he was in the White House, he protected and preserved Social Security and Medicare. He campaigned on that. He follows through on his campaign promises, unlike a lot of other politicians that I've served with. And I am so excited about his opportunity, and I'm so excited about his cabinet that he's creating. He is announcing and appointing stellar individuals that's going to make America even greater than it has ever been.
Guys, y'all hear this stuff. This is Republican congressmen that are coming out and saying, look, we uncovered it. We found where they were shifting money. They were moving money to pay for Biden and all them's Green New Deal, and they took money from Medicare, and now people are hurting. Because I'm going to tell you this, like what I'm about to show you, it's really important why we're getting some of these people in that Trump wants. We got to make America healthy again. We got to make America fiscally responsible again. That's why we got Vivek, and that's why we got Elon. We got to make America to be able to trust the Justice Department, that it won't be weaponized. Like the crap that they pulled off, everybody saw it. Like, dude, there's no way. Right before the election, y'all gonna go after him like this? Are you serious? But look at this. This is with RFK. This is a percentage of total adult population aged 15 years and over, 2016 or latest year. Look at who is at the top of the list for the percentage of adult population that's the obesity rates. The United States. Guys, when it comes to our health, we've got to make changes. We need to get the crap out of our foods. We need to get away from things that are not healthy, from all these dyes, these things that hurt us. And we need to get back to being healthy again. Like this is the right stuff. And you know, I'm super happy about where things are going. But I'm telling you, we're watching, guys, because they're still counting votes. We still got to get all the right people in. Like, think about it like this. In Lake County, this person said, congratulations to Lake County, California, for managing to tabulate a grand total of 30% of the vote in 9 days after the election. We're now 10 days. Can you believe this crap? Look at this. This person put the corruption in Arizona is real. Arizona is still counting votes. I'm glad that we're getting the right people in with Trump's cabinet, but it just bothers me that, you know, we're still keeping an eye on certain things and we still just don't know. Check this out.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to run the Department of Health and Human Services. In a statement he put up on X, Kennedy vowed to advance Donald Trump's vision to make America healthy again. So tonight, a word of advice. Tune out the noise and the hysteria, all predictable, from the state-run media mob. He wants to bring back polio and the measles. They're going crazy as usual. And of course, the Washington establishment. Let's listen to what RFK Jr. is actually saying. Here is another part of the statement, quote, "Together, we will clean up corruption, stop the revolving door between industry and government, and return our health agencies to their rich tradition of gold standard evidence-based science. I will provide Americans with transparency and access to all the data so they can make informed choices for themselves and their families. Kennedy's goal is and always has been to increase government transparency, and by the way, the free flow of information. And then guess what? let you, the American people, make your own decisions about your health care, about your food, about the issues of vaccines for your children. He's saying, liberals, I think, would like this, that he's pro-choice, but he's pro-informed choices. In other words, you know, that's called freedom. Now, despite what you might hear from the dishonest, well, frankly, dead legacy journalists, he's not on a mission to ban medicine. He's not on a mission to ban your food. He's definitely not anti-vaccine. Take a look.
What my job is not to do as little top-down control as possible and just get good information to the American people. So we don't have good science because the agencies deliberately don't do that science because they don't want people to know what they're eating. And what I'm going to do is make sure that Americans have good information, the best gold standard science about their food and medicines, and then leave the choice to them.
You have been a crusader on questioning vaccines. Are there specific vaccines that you would seek to take off the market?
No, I'm not going to take away anybody's vaccines. I've never been anti-vaccine.
You will not take any vaccine that is currently on the market.
I'm not. If vaccines are working for somebody, I'm not going to take them away.
Oh, truth, transparency, that matters. This is a government that is supposed to be for the people, by the people, not a cabal of unelected bureaucrats making secret, sometimes arbitrary, sometimes beneficial to them, decisions, and then imposing their values and beliefs on the American people and their children through dictates and mandates. You might remember, the CDC, the 6 feet of social distancing guidelines. We now know it was totally random. None of it was based on, quote, the science. What about the government's war against the very real science of natural immunity? God forbid if Rand Paul ever talked about that. What about the claims that the COVID vaccines were 99% effective? If you got the shot, you're not going to get COVID. And by the way, you won't infect others, which turned out to be a complete lie. What about those federal and state mask mandates? Remember them? The ones that Democrats loved? The mandatory shutdowns, the mandatory lockdowns? Look at this 2023 headline from the New York Times, quote, "The mask mandates did nothing. Will any lessons be learned?" Here's the lesson. Government secrecy, deception, control doesn't work, and it's not the American way. It did not save lives. It did not prevent the spread of COVID. It just caused misery, isolation, fear, and there are still some brainwashed people, liberals, leftists in this country. Occasionally I'll be driving. I'll look over. I'll see somebody alone in their car with a mask on. I'm like, why? Why do you have a mask on? Now, freedom of information, freedom of thought, freedom will return to Washington, D.C. And RFK Jr., to his credit, is the right person to lead this effort at HHS. Now, can America do better on issues like obesity and heart disease and strokes and diabetes? Can we get rid of chemicals and hormones in our food like Europe? You know, it is time to make America healthy again through accountability and through transparency. Now, this will be one of the major themes from the new Trump administration: freedom from bureaucracy, the freedom to choose for you and your family. The permanent state has become too bloated, too restrictive, too powerful, and it is pushing the American dream out of reach for so many people. But that's all about to change, and not a moment too soon. Because America is the last place on earth where your dreams, no matter how big, can still become a reality.
Let's go.
A few years ago, critics doubted Elon Musk and his vision for space. After decades of government inaction, well, Musk was able to revolutionize high-speed satellite internet. He created new cost-effective Starship transport systems. He launched more than 100 rockets into space this year alone. He also is the guy that our government needs to go to space to save astronauts that are currently trapped in space. Remember, he's the guy that got communications to people in remote areas after Hurricane Helene. And by 2030, he is planning a manned mission to Mars. This is all possible in spite of your government, not because of your government. The American people can and will lead the world into a brighter future, but freedom in all things, including health care, must be restored. Look at it this way. When government promises you free housing and health care and education and child care and early child education and guaranteed government healthy food and this and that, well, $93 trillion. How's Social Security and Medicare working out for you? Because they're both headed towards insolvency. How did the promise to keep your doctor in your plan and save on average $2,500 a year? Well, millions of Americans lost their doctors, lost their care, and we are all paying about 250 to 300% more per year for health care. 40% of Americans have one Obamacare option choice, and that's it. Anyway, here with reaction.
I'm telling you guys, like, getting away from all this corruptness is where we want to get to. You know, a free America, free people. Just some more examples of mismanagement of money. Transgender monkey research. The NIH also spent $477,000 on studies involving transgender monkeys. I don't even know how you know that they would be that. But they spent almost $500,000 on it. Drag shows, $20,000 in Ecuador. Improper payments in federal programs, $98 billion. Indicating, and this was due to system issues. Couldn't get the system right. We have excessive spending on public relations. Federal agencies have spent $4.5 billion on making sure that they look good, advertising and all that. It's like the evidence is there. People are tired of it. People are going to see the truth come out across multiple places, just like this right here. Remember, whenever Elon bought X, everybody said what? Hey, we're leaving X. Comcast, Disney, IBM, all these advertisers left. Lionsgate, Discovery, Warner Brothers, they all thought if they left that Elon X would just shut down. Well, it didn't. It's our free speech platform. And now they're all coming back. Why? Because their companies are losing revenue and they need people. This is such good things are happening. On top of that, we showed you right here, Trump is suing media for $10 billion over biased claims. This is because what? When we showed you 85% of the news reported by CNN, ABC, CBS towards Kamala Harris was positive, yet 78% towards Trump was negative. It's all collusion. It's all working together. They were trying to help the Democrats win, but the American people saw through all the crap and was able to make sure that we got the right people in place. But a lot of things are happening, and again, too, when I go back to what's going to happen with our money, check this out.
Trump at Mar-a-Lago last night praising Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy's plans to cut government spending and waste. Musk and Ramaswamy will be heading up the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, which is now using X to hire employees. Get this, the agency says it is looking for super high IQ small government revolutionaries willing to work 80+ hours a week on unglamorous cost cutting. Not a great sales pitch there, but Musk says there will be zero compensation. Yeah. According to the Manhattan Institute, President Biden's initiatives like the American Rescue Plan, student debt relief, and infrastructure spending has added more than $4 trillion to the deficit over 10 years. Joining me now is South Carolina Congressman Ralph Norman, a member of the House Budget, Financial Services, and Rules Committees. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. So I want to get your take on whether or not they can actually do this. Do you think they can cut $2 trillion in waste?
Maria, it'll be more than that. I mean, what President Trump has done, a couple of things.
Hold up. Guys, remember, this guy is a part of the actual budget committee in Congress. Congress handles the purse. So if there's anybody that's going to know if we're going to be able to cut more than $2 trillion, it's going to be this guy.
He's gotten the enthusiasm of the whole country. The votes showed that. The election night showed that. Secondly, he's putting business people that have done it. Look at what Elon Musk has done. Look at what Vivek's done. They've actually built something. The only thing the Biden administration had were these pencil-necked elites who had never done anything other than get a government paycheck. The people that he has in place at really every department have got a track record, as President Trump does. So they will give this country a lift as we have never seen before. And the important thing that Elon said, he's going to publish the actual dollars that he wants to cut, and we the people will see it.
Yes.
That's who's going to put the pressure on these senators and House members who don't go along with it or who have some interest in making sure it continues. But it's a great day, and doesn't surprise me. President Trump has delivered the 4 years he was there, and he'll deliver now.
Well, I mean, Congressman, why is there so much waste anyway? I mean, some of these things that I was looking at last night, this list of stuff that taxpayers, you know, taxpayer money spends on. I mean, taxpayers don't even realize how their money is spent.
No.
Some of this stuff is just crazy. Who decides this?
Well, Congress does. I mean, it's all done by people. I mean, look at why the $50 million to study monkeys. Why is the interest on the debt going to exceed our national defense budget? You know, why the pet projects, you mentioned in your previous segment, the government subsidies to electric vehicles. The bottom line, the public does not want electric vehicles, and why subsidize them? Let the people decide what they want. Ask any car dealer. But no, this is the greatest thing. And to be honest, I think you'll have other states that are putting business people together who have done something, and to cut government and give it back to the people. Let Americans decide where they want their money to go, but they just don't know it because it's been hidden. Now it's going to be public, and I dare any of the elected officials to come out and say that whatever Elon and Vivek come up with is not a good thing for this country. We can't keep the spending spree that we've done.
What are your opportunities now that you all have this trifecta? I mean, look, you're talking about small majorities, obviously, still, but you've got the majority in the House, you've got the majority in the Senate. House Speaker Mike Johnson meeting with incoming Senate Majority Leader John Thune yesterday. Thune joined Fox's Bret Baier last night on the Republican agenda. Watch this.
Speaker Johnson and the White House and Senate Republicans are aligned when it comes to the things that we need to do. A procedure, a legislative procedure called budget reconciliation that enables you to do some things that you otherwise probably wouldn't be able to do, at least not at 51 votes. And I think what we would hope to do is see if there are ways in which we could achieve some of the president's objectives on the border as he takes some executive actions. Some of those are going to need funding, whether it deals with the wall or whether it deals with deportations or any of those sorts of things, manpower.
So, Congressman, realistically speaking, what can get done, and what can get done easily, and what do you need 60 votes for in the Senate?
The president has laid out his agenda, like deportation, like completing the wall at the border to stop this invasion. People are with him on that. The crime that is caused. People are with the cutting. Now, they're going to have to sell it, but the American people will sell it for him. All the initiatives that President Trump has, I think they will be done. And I think the people are put in place to make sure this happens. So the big initiatives that he's mentioned, strengthening the military, getting this country back on a fiscal track that it can be is sustainable, the American people identify with. That's why they gave him the mandate that they did, which hadn't been seen since Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee are asking the House Ethics Committee to preserve and turn over all documents on former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz. As you know, Gaetz is Trump's pick for Attorney General. He was the subject of an Ethics Committee investigation over whether he engaged in sexual misconduct and illicit drug use. The committee was supposed to vote on whether to release that report on Gaetz today, but now that Gaetz has resigned from Congress, the report has been scrapped. What are your thoughts on Matt Gaetz? Can he actually get confirmed, or is it not? He's not getting confirmed, and everybody knows that.
Look, Matt Gaetz is a brilliant legal mind. Matt Gaetz he will be the left-wing socialist's worst enemy when I think he will get confirmed. Matt can handle himself. He has nothing to hide. The DOJ dismissed all the charges. The political witch hunt, and Matt knows this, the political witch hunt on the ethics reports have been done by House members, and we know who pushed that against him. He pushed back, DOJ dismissed it, and so, but he has nothing to hide. Matt Gaetz is a tremendous pick. You can trust what he does, and he's a risk taker, which is good and is what's needed in that position.
Okay, that's good to have.
I love it, everybody. Like the amount of the people that we're seeing, who's coming on board, they're not afraid to take chances and take risk to make sure, like Vivek said, it would be better for us to take more and put back than to just keep taking little by little by little and never see any real change. So that's where things are going. And I'm so happy because I'm ready for the American people to be put back in charge, where we voted the people in to do what we wanted to. And the biggest thing, our taxpayer dollars gets more back to us instead of those politicians and whatever they want to do. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so I can serve you every day with the top news. And thank you so much for all those that are members of the channel. If you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. It really does help out. And guys, thank y'all so much for your support. And the super chats, Ronald Zimmerman, Lay Lewis, thank y'all so much. Y'all show them some love in the chat. We are doing some amazing things with this channel. We are giving back, and I'm so excited about it, everybody. Like, it just makes me happy because there's people out there that need it, and this channel is more than just reporting news. We're going to be a positive change in this world. Love everybody in the chat. Hope you have a good one, and I will see y'all in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.